Welcome back to the City Current Show. I'm your host, Jeremy Park. We're always honored to bring you inspiring stories of individuals and organizations making a difference, empowering the good. And in this case, we're talking about horses and Mustangs specifically. We're honored to have with us Ann Souders, Director of Outreach with the Mustang Heritage Foundation. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm just honored to be here and can't wait to explore a little bit more about Mustangs together.
Absolutely. Well, we have a lot of good to talk about when you talk about rescue efforts and taking care of and loving on the Mustangs and the horses. There's a lot to unpack, but give us a little bit when you talk about for you personally. Let's start there. What attracted you to the Mustang Heritage Foundation? Give us some of your background.
Well, I grew up in the Midwest and always wanted a horse. I think that gene is kind of born in you a little bit because I was the only one in my family that was horse crazy. And of course, on Saturdays, you watch My Friend Flicka and Roy Rogers and Black Beauty and all those shows, and that just enhances it even more. And then talk about wanting to have a wild Mustang. Oh my goodness, that's in every young girl's heart. And as I got older, I really got into more of the activist side, wanting them to be free and protecting them in the wild before I really was educated and knew about them. And we moved to Fort Worth area. And in 2007, the Mustang Heritage Foundation had a new event called the Extreme Mustang Makeover. Now, what in the world was that? When I started finding out about it, it was 100 competitors with 100 Mustangs, and they only had 100 days to train them from being in the wild. So we had to go. I mean, we just had to go. I drugged my husband there, and it really changed our life, Jeremy, because that's where I first met so many of the people. I really got invested with Mustang Heritage and what they did, and I got to see things on the other side with a different perspective. And then in 2008, my husband and I both competed in the Mustang Makeover, and I had a yearling filly. He had a 4-year-old from Nevada, and we both competed in it. And I just happened to have a judge by the name of Ken McNabb. And if you're in the horse world, people know Ken McNabb, and he lives up in Wyoming. And he came to me and asked me about being an activist and trying to keep them free. And Ken really educated me in the next couple hours about wild Mustangs and what is really happening and why they need to be managed and why they need to be gathered, which made what Mustang Heritage does even more important. So I kind of came from the dark side, I tell people. I saw the light, and once I got educated, I knew how important it was for education. And so now, being the Director of Outreach and Education helps me help other people. Jeremy, some people don't even know there's wild horses in America. And they're on 10 states in the West. We have 177 HMAs, which are herd management areas. In those 10 states, the wild horses are on that land, and they're protected there by the Act of 1971 Wild Horse Annie. And so it was pretty neat to get involved in this. And then in 2009, I got asked to go to work for them. And then 8 years ago, I became the spokesperson for America's Mustang, which was the educational division. And now I'm the Director of Outreach. So I get to outreach to everybody, explain a little bit about what we do. I don't know if you know this or not, but the Mustangs are on 26,700 acres in America. They're out in those 10 states, and it's out in the West, like Wyoming, Idaho, Utah, Nevada, California, Oregon, Montana, Colorado, New Mexico, that area, which if you know that area, it's pretty deserty. So I tell people all the time, if Mustangs were wild in Tennessee and Kentucky, there wouldn't be much of a problem except them being overweight. But they're not. They're on all this desert land, and they are protected out there. However, that land can only sustain about 26,000 Mustangs. Now, that's not very many Mustangs. And so out of that 27,000 acres, There can really only be 26,000 Mustangs that can sustain their life healthy wise for food and water. Because, there's other critters out there too. And right now we have 82,800, a little over 82,800 Mustangs in the wild. That's why the Bureau of Land Management manages them. They do gathers, and then that's where we come in. At Mustang Heritage, our mission is to help adopt Mustangs and wild burros through our programs, events, and through education.
One of the things on your end is the public, good on this is that your efforts really save a tremendous amount of taxpayer dollars. And so talk about kind of that aspect. And it's really, it's just like you're talking about, it's taking care of the horses, but it's also too, there's a great benefit for the community at large on this.
Absolutely. And I want you to know, we get to do this. This is a blessing for us. We get to change people's lives through a wild horse, not only financially through their tax dollars, but there's just something really special about adopting a wild animal and earning its trust. So, like I said, many people don't even know that there's wild horses, but our tax dollars pay for those horses once they're gathered, for their feed, for their well-being and their care. So by us gathering them up, having these events, having people adopt them and getting the adopters and the trainers to do this, that really helps get them out in the mainstream world. And I think our programs, I know our programs and events have really showcased them and shown people just what a wild horse can do with a little bit of effort, a little training, and a little work.
Yeah, and I think when you look at the tax savings, about $25,000, per Mustang, and I think there's real power in there for how you are changing lives, taking care of the horses, but also too, kind of back to why should everyone care? This is exactly why. As you're doing good, you're powering the good in a lot of ways. And so talk about, because you mentioned, the adoption side, the event side, there's a lot for what you do, including obviously the education and outreach, just like we're talking about, raising awareness. And so dive into some of the events and the programmatic pieces.
Well, every year, our main event that we showcase the horse is called the Extreme Mustang Makeover. That's where you can apply to be a trainer. And then once you're approved, you'll pick up a horse at a certain location across the United States, and you have approximately 100 days to train this horse, bring it back to the arena where we're having the event and showcase it. And then after that event, if you're an adult, your horse will go up for adoption through a bidding process. And you have trained that horse. Now you're looking for the adopter. And in that 100 days, you've gentled it, you've showcased it, you've prepared a freestyle in case you get in the top 10 and can do a freestyle. And I'm telling you right now, these trainers will blow your socks off. If you go to YouTube and you just type in Extreme Mustang Makeover, oh my goodness, you will not believe what these trainers can do in 100 days. And Jeremy, we start at the age of 8. Our youth are 8 to 17, and me have little words that always find something to talk about. I'm speechless when it comes to our kids. They are the rock stars. They're our future with the horses, and what they can do with a yearling or a 2-year-old in 100 days is absolutely amazing. And not only that, when you pick up a wild horse and you invest not only the money to do it, but the time and the effort, it teaches you a lot of things. And I can tell you right now, our former youth trainers that are now adults, they are changing the world. I mean, we have veterinarians. We have someone that works at the zoo. We have amazing parents. And I like to think that their work ethic, what they learn training a wild Mustang, their responsibility, their compassion, their honesty. You have to be honest to train a horse, because I'm telling you, these horses are aware of everything. That's what's kept them alive all this time, in the wild. And Jeremy, there is nothing like picking up a wild horse and working with it and earning that first touch. I mean, That is amazing. We've kind of got out of earning things today in the world we live in. You know what I mean? We don't have to memorize people's phone numbers. You can drive on the fast lane on the highway. You can fast forward through commercials. But when it comes to training a wild horse, there are no shortcuts. And they know inside you before you've even gotten in that round pen or in that stall or in that pen with that horse. They already know what we're thinking. They feel our fear. They feel our anxiety. And so we walk in there and establish that trust enough that that horse lets us touch them. There's something very healing about it. And I will tell you, that's why our veterans programs are 100% successful. And with the youth too. I mean, it just doesn't get better than that.
Dive into the veteran side, because like you're talking about, there is a therapeutic, you hear it a lot in terms of the equine therapy and what that means for veterans and those going through crisis and trauma and just the healing power of working with a horse. And so dive in on that side, especially with like the veterans like you're talking about.
I would love to do that. That is a precious thing to me. I'm on the board of directors for Western Cross Veterans and Youth Ranch in Springtown, and I get to see that all the time. And I will tell you, Jeremy, it's not just for the veteran working for the horse, but the difference it makes in the family watching that whole process and the healing. Everybody heals through that. And that Mustang could care less what kind of car you drive, what your title is, how much money you make, or what war you've been in. They don't care. All they care about is what you bring to them. That's that honesty factor that we have to open up when we're earning their trust. And there's something about us, I think, especially as Americans, getting out of ourselves and thinking about something else that is very healing. And I tell people all the time, I'm a faith-based girl, and I want to tell you, I've seen God do miracles time and time again with these Mustangs. It's like he just leaned down and blew his breath right over that situation. And it is so healing. I've seen people's lives changed every day. I never get tired of this. I never do. And the world we live in, we need more about it. And for all of the listeners, I encourage you to go to our website, mustangheritagefoundation.org. And I know that not everybody can adopt a wild horse. Many people live in town. Many people are up in years and they don't want to contact that, but we can use you. We need your help. We need your donations. We need your support, not only financially, but we need to help you get educated. And I'm on Facebook and Instagram and Souders. You want to know more about horses, you can reach me there. You can reach me through the Mustang Heritage Foundation. I want what I have. I want that for you. I want that wonderful thing to happen for you, because it's not only helping our country and our taxes, we get to help other people. And what a blessing that is, to just keep on giving. We're not only helping the horses and our land, we're helping each other.
Give us one other way, because you mentioned obviously the adoption side, the financial contributions, you touched on some of the events. Give us one other way that the community can help your efforts.
Besides getting involved and being educated and adopting, we're a nonprofit. So we're always needing help financially. And that can be $1, that can be $5, that can be 500. We're always up for that. We could use your support. We have trainers all over the place. Follow us, learn more about us, learn what we do. Get excited about this, because this is a great thing. We're not only helping our country that we love dearly, we're helping each other, and we're helping a piece of our history.
Well, you've mentioned it throughout, but go ahead and mention again, website, social media. Where do you want everyone to go to learn more about the Mustang Heritage Foundation?
Well, the Mustang Heritage Foundation has a website, mustangheritagefoundation.org. We're all on there. The staff, everybody's there. Our phone number's there. If you want to contact me, you call the office and They will give you my phone number. I would love to talk Mustangs to you all day long. We're on Facebook, Mustang Heritage Foundation, and also Extreme Mustang Makeover and America's Mustang, which is our educational page. So we're also on Instagram, and we would love you to follow us. We would love to have you come to an event. We just finished our Extreme Mustang Makeover in Franklin, Tennessee, which was wonderful. All the Mustangs got adopted out. All the youth were there. And I'm sure if you go to YouTube and type in Extreme Mustang Makeover Youth Freestyles, you will be shocked at what you see. I've seen Mustangs dance like a ballerina. I've seen them be in circus acts. And, well, I'm not going to tell you everything because I want you to go look for it yourself.
Once again, the website, MustangHeritageFoundation.org. And thank you for all you and your amazing team do. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you. I'm honored. And you just let me know, Jeremy, when you're ready to adopt a Mustang, and I'll give you my number.